Hi, you're listening to SFF,
the show where we talk to interesting people about documentary films that they have strong opinions about. I'm George Chen.
I'm Paco Romain. And today we talk about the documentaries The Source Family and The Arrival with filmmaker Jodi Willie.
And this is a different kind of talk because Jodi actually made The Source Family. She's an archivist and researcher on utopian groups, and she's up in Los Angeles at the SF International Film Festival, where we caught up with her.
Yeah, so I checked out Source Family. I mean, I saw it, I'd say maybe 6 or 7 months ago.
Oh, yeah.
And then I watched it again just a few days ago. Preparation. Just incredible. Like, so did they just document everything?
They documented a lot. And really, the documentation happened, it really kind of got supercharged when ISIS came to town. You know, when ISIS was Charlene Peters and she joined the family, and she had been she'd been engaged to marry Ron Raffelli, who was like Jimi Hendrix's primary photographer, and had a really good life going. I mean, she was like hanging out with the Stones and Karen Carpenter and all those people.
Stones and Karen
Yes,
Carpenter.
like quite a variety. And, you know, so she had this very privileged life, but when she saw Jim Baker at the Source restaurant, there was this just like crazy feeling. She said she felt like her whole body changed, and she was just like, oh my God, this is like it. This is the most interesting thing I've ever seen. It's amazing. I'm leaving everything behind. And she brought cameras in from the studio, and they just started taking a lot of pictures. And that the first night in the family that she was there, she recorded the first birth in the family that you saw in the film.
Like the
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
I didn't see it because I did this. I held my hand up. Yeah.
That's where I love watching the audience, because men become children in that shot, in that scene. They just start whimpering and crying when they watch that.
It went a direction I did not expect it to go. I'm just like, this is very sad. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, maybe he's a miracle worker. Because he just, I'm assuming that the audience has seen this movie at this point because it's been out for a while. But yeah, like he revives his stillborn child.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing that she documents. I didn't put that together that because her fiance was Ron Raffelli, that she was a photographer also, or she had access to the photo equipment.
Yeah, I mean, she was really managing the studio when she was with Ron, but then she kind of came into her own, because there was actually Ron's assistant was in the Source family, and that was how she got to go visit the Source. It was one day when Ron had to find some Jesuses for a Jesus Christ Superstar campaign he was doing. And she was like, I'll go to the Source, of course. And then, so there was one photographer, but ultimately about 5 people in the family took all the pictures, and some of them were really good. I mean, those photos were amazing. Yeah, good cameras.
Was the woman at the end who says that she had to film the funeral and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, that's still ISIS, right?
That's
ISIS, right? Yeah, okay.
That's ISIS.
Yeah. What name do you think I would have been given if I had been in the Source family?
Oh, gosh, let me
Can you
tune
just,
into...
just look into my eyes. Just think about it for a second.
Yeah, I don't know why I want to say Sunstar.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. I think Sunstar Aquarius.
Sunstar.
What about George? What do you think he would have?
Raphael.
Okay. A Ninja Turtle. A Ninja Turtle Source family.
It's because of your
You're my Splinter. Yeah, Father Splinter.
Listen, Archangel, Ninja Turtle, Sculptor. He was a Mega Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Raphael.
I think it's because you're eating pizza.
Yes, mostly. I have a calzone in my hand right now. There are so many questions about just Jim Baker before we even get to the Yod, the odd period. Is it Yod or Yod?
Yod. Yes.
Because I also first heard of Father Yod through Byron Coley.
I know, Byron thought he was Yod because he didn't know anybody in the family.
Right.
But
so,
Byron was like the fearless pioneer, you know,
That's the
nobody
first
knew
one.
anything
Yeah,
when he
was
jumped in.
Yeah, like, because he had the name. So Byron Coley's a music journalist who had a label called Father Yod. And he's out of Boston. Is just like an early punk guy, and like that's the first thing I ever heard about it. And then he did a label there's more called like Static Yod.
Right.
So that's the first thing I'd ever heard about. Like, what is that related to? You're like, oh, it's this cult thing. You gotta check it out. And I guess the recordings is probably what got him into it, right?
Yeah, back in the late 80s, there was like this sort of East Coast group of rabid collectors, you know, of esoteric stuff that came across the Source family records, and it was a big source of mystery because nobody knew anything about the family, but they really dug the music. They thought it was very interesting, and they loved the album art. It's like, some of the best album art of all time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But nobody knew anything. And so for me, like in 1999, I had a friend who turned me onto the box set that Captain Tripp put out, the Japanese psych label. It's like a box set of all the Yahweh 13 records. It's kind of deluxe, fancy. My friend was just like, Jodi, have you ever seen this? And I looked at it, and it was just this picture of Father Yod in black and white with his devotees kind of in his belly, and it said Yahweh, God and hair.
Nice.
And I was just like, what is this? And he was like, oh, is this cult that was in LA in the 70s? And I was like, what? How could that have? Because I have like studied, researched all of these different cults for like 20 years. I thought I was like an aficionado, and I was like, how did I not know about the Source family, especially if they were making music and
Right.
they were gorgeous? Like, why have I not been told the story? And that was what started me kind of digging.
Well, so why do you think it was that you'd kind of missed them?
And
in your...
Everybody did, yeah.
Yeah, and can you speak to like how, for the last 20 years, have you been sort of, what got you onto this path of like researching these groups?
I think it's because I came from a very loving Christian family, but like kind of a strict one, and I